One time for the one time. It's the family bloodline.
And we are back, good people. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back to another edition of the Legacy Table tonight. It's the Legacy Table, and we are going to have a bit of a carryover from the conversation that was being had on the Pulse last night, where yesterday's conversation on the Pulse was titled "Double Standards in America," where we were a review of America in short. All right, short review of America. But we were talking about multiple different things when it comes to America and its double standards and how we have to, how we've been interpreting it and how we will essentially have to navigate it moving forward. I think there's a couple of different truths that are starting to make themselves a bit manifest in our realm as a culture. But I think the most important thing that's making itself manifest is that ain't nobody coming to save us. Nobody's coming to save us. And if we as a culture, as a community, can lean into that phrase and that understanding that nobody's coming to save us, maybe we will begin to take the time to try and save ourselves. We lean on a lot of different things, aspects of life to save us financially. People are putting their trust in banking institutions. People are putting their trust in work. People put their all of their trust and their hope and their faith in their religion without works. People put their faith and trust in in a bunch of different things, but we don't put our faith and our trust in our own communities. And I think that's one of the things that continues to stall us out, especially when it comes to economics. So tonight's title for the Legacy Table as a carryover, it's almost like a part two is the American Paradox, Justice. And I just recently read a definition of the word paradox, and I'll come back to that in a second. But before I do, I need to make sure we start our talk the way we always do. Cause how's your week been?
We've been solid, man. Like I'm telling you before, and I think I'm a bit off a little bit more too. I just started up too many projects at one time. Thinking the boys were gonna help me and stuff. But you know how they go. They ain't acclimated to the heat. They ain't really work good. And plus, they've been going to basketball camps, football camps. You know what I'm saying? That's
Right.
some of all my money right now. You know what I'm saying? But they thriving, man. They coming home, flexing on me. You know what I'm saying? Telling me how stronger they get me, showing me they good drills. Man, it's paying off. So I'm excited that they excited. So
For sure.
on my end, though, I'm gonna get my work done, though. But I might just have to holler at the fellas, though, instead of listening to the boys.
Have you gone back to work yet?
I went back to work the next day. Well,
Oh,
2 days later. 2 days later, yep. They just put me on light duty. I just had to walk around with a screw gun and pretend I was doing the same. So it was beneficial. They
all
looked
right.
out for me.
14 stitches and you're right back to work.
But yeah,
Trying to,
that's what's been going on with me, man. Just trying to take care of being a homeowner as well as being a dad. So you
Yep.
know how that goes.
Yep. Can't forget about being a husband.
See, the wife is right there in the yard with me though, with her back hurting and everything. Like I was telling you, she's gonna have the
Yeah.
surgery coming up. So I'm trying to do everything before she really go down because I know I'm gonna have to be more in the house. You know what I'm saying? And more attentive to the boys. Then so
Right. I feel you. And as always, I'm gonna ask Rich how his week has been so far, and he's going to say, "You on mute? You on mute? You muted yourself."
Y'all hear me?
Yep, we got you.
Loud and clear.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
Okay. Oh yeah, let's get to it.
let's get to it. Here we go. Here we go. So I said that I would read a definition of the word paradox, and why I titled tonight's topic "The American Paradox: Justice." So, the definition of the word paradox is a seemingly absurd or self contradictory statement or proposition that, when investigated or explained, may prove to be well founded or true. In a paradox, he has discovered that stepping backward from his job has increased the rewards he gains from it, as an example. That's one definition. The Merriam Webster definition of the word paradox is a person or thing having seemingly contradictory qualities or phases. So these are another one, a statement or sentiment that is seemingly contradictory or opposed to common sense and yet is perhaps true. A self-contradictory statement that at first seems true. An argument that apparently derives self-contradictory conclusions by valid deduction from acceptable premises. So, the American paradox, justice. And I want to start. Oh, storms are hitting hard in the shy. Oh, y'all gotta be careful out there.
Yeah, we
Doctor.
supposed to get about 8, 9 o'clock.
Yeah, that ain't the way to be at all. Especially when them storms get to hitting. Oh man, I don't want that screen. So the American paradox, especially when it comes to justice, and I'll this will go around to everybody in a second, but I know, Rich, you've talked about the 14th Amendment on multiple different occasions, and how it pertains to the descendants of the enslaved African. Right. I just want to make sure I'm quoting that right.
You got it right.
All right. So when we take justice, the American paradox, and we take justice in those parameters, I have to go and I have to say, in your breath of explaining how the 14th Amendment was primarily and only for the descendants of the enslaved children, I have to go and say, then the rest of the Constitution was not written for us at all, or to enjoin. That's my first proposition to be thrown out there and to talk about, to highlight, to get at. What are y'all thoughts?
I agree with that too, because it was always designed to where, especially blacks, couldn't harm white people. You know what I'm saying? It was like, I want to say, I thought it was like 3 amendments back in the day. You know what I'm saying?
13th to the 15th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
13th to the 15th. Yeah.
And yeah, reading them all, it was pretty much structured as blacks harming white folks. You know what I'm saying? That was my take from it. So y'all can enlighten me a little bit more, but I was just trying to get a little bit more knowledge on it. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all got a little bit more knowledge, but that was my understanding of it. Them particular set of laws.
What you got, Rich?
I'll say this. When they wrote the U.S. Constitution about all men was created equal, we hold these truths self-evident.
Mm-hmm.
That wasn't for us. In fact, that wasn't even for women of any race.
Right.
So the 13th said no more slavery unless for involuntary servitude.
Prison.
Okay, that's correct. And then the 14th was the due process. It doesn't matter about your race. You should get due process in the country. And because of the enslaved African and their children, birthright citizenship was awarded to them. That wasn't for anybody else. That was for the children of the enslaved African.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people will say, no, that's not true. No, those are the facts. And then
So-
the 15th gave black men, the 15th Amendment gave black men the right to vote.
Right.
But I think what you're saying is in regards to these two cases, Carmelo Anthony and the Rick Child. Do black people get the same a level of justice in the judicial system as whites, or maybe any other group? And so the argument goes on and on and on. That's the argument. But I want to say this really quickly. The man that was killed by Carmelo Anthony, the young man, when we talked about that case last night, and I still say I don't really have an opinion.
Uh-huh.
I said that last week before the verdict was out, and I still say that now because everyone is talking about this, because I'm still stuck on Rick Child. But to the man's family, the young man's family, we want to send our condolences out to them because we don't condone violence in any form or fashion. So with that being said, we don't want to see no one die, regardless of their race. We don't propagate that. We don't encourage that. Not these black men on this podcast. I don't see that. But do we as black people, do we get the same level in the judicial system as whites? No.
So is that one of the things that we've seen since we pushed a little forward? Is that one of the things that we've seen in the Carmelo Anthony case? And this isn't directly asking for an opinion. This is just asking for how your thoughts have shaped up surrounding it. And if you're not there yet, what about the child case as well?
Well, so I'm very calm tonight. I'm very calm because I watch people, regardless of what people say about me. I watch people and I watch their words, and I look for certain things. And I know people have watched me on this show to see if I'm being sincere. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, that Rick Child is horrendous because when Cyrus, the 14-year-old, left the store, they never reported they had a firearm. He didn't point the gun, allegedly, inside that store. So when this young man left the store and he didn't steal any water, then why did you feel the need to follow this young black man? Would you have done the same thing to a white kid? I don't know. But we do know. We do know. And so you run this man down for 130 yards. You said the 14-year-old turned around while he's running. He did a matrix and turned around and pointed his gun that nobody saw from the witnesses at Andy Child. And then he spins back around and keeps running. Then he falls, and then Rick Child shoots him. And then the witnesses said that Rick Child gave him CPR. Okay. But this gun that fell out of his pocket conveniently, because you had to justify this one way or another. But when we say, would a black store owner chase a little white kid, a 14-year-old, after the kid left the store and didn't steal anything, would he have chased them down the street and then claimed that the kid turned around and tried to shoot at his son, and so he had to shoot him? So some people will say, well, you're stretching this out too far. I'm going to go back to January 6th, 2021. When those Capitol Police, as that one black officer was running for his life while he's trying to protect our leaders in Washington, he's running from the mob. And he has a licensed firearm on him. His life was in imminent danger, but he knew he better not shoot. Now, if that had been the white officers, and that had been people looking like us, there wouldn't have been no court trial. There wouldn't have been no pardon. In fact, President Obama, if he had got reelected, well, he wouldn't have got reelected because he would have got deported. See, there's a double standard here. So when we look at the situation in Texas, I don't know all the details because I think they're a little hazy. When you try to look up him carrying that little 5-inch pocket knife Was it legal in Texas? Yes. Was it legal to be at a school event? I tried to get the manual to look it up in the school manual. I couldn't find that information. So then it comes down to, did he have to pull out his little pocket knife because he felt his life was in imminent danger, or did he say allegedly?
Let me pause you. Let me pause you right there, because I think that's a great question to jump in at. Dirk, what do you think? Did he have to? Was that a necessary movement of defense? Was it his last resort, or was it an overbearing move?
So
Or
they just say it was just a push. Well, you can push the shit out of somebody. How hard was the push? You know what I'm saying?
X?
They say the young man Melon I mean not say he had goddamn me he got epilepsy. So right there, I can't afford to tussle with another individual. You know what I'm saying? It might bring on an episode or something. You know what I'm saying? So I have to,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So like I say, because that was the last thing I heard the prosecutor say, you cannot uh, use a knife versus a push or something or a shove or something. But man, it's two of them. It's twins. It's twin brothers. It's not just the one brother. You know what I'm saying? It's two of them standing up this young man. So without and this is all court document. They all saying the same thing that but yeah, I pray for my life. There's too many individuals right here. There's too many circumstances there to put my life in jeopardy. But then I've been going back and forth with people all day. They like, see, man, you could have just walked away. I'm like, as a as an older gentleman, yeah, but back then, I don't know.
What
We'll
what
see.
what was stopping him from walking away?
Nothing, nothing. In my eye, nothing was stopping him from walking away. You know what I'm saying? But
So
I was I was invited into this tent as well. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
No, he wasn't invited. They said he.
He go ahead.
Oh, well, let me ask you a question then. Now they've been reporting that it was raining on that
yeah.
Mhm.
April day in 2025. So he ran inside the tent to keep from getting wet. That's common sense. Anybody does that.
Correct.
So, pardon me. So it was important that he was asked to leave by Hunter Metcalf, the twin brother,
Mhm.
and then Austin Metcalf, because I want to be respectful. I want to say their names because I don't want them to say that, we don't say their names when it's not us. So I'm going to show respect. They said that Austin, who's a little bit bigger, I guess, than Hunter, he said, hey, you got to get out of here. And I guess there was a push or whatever.
But I'm trying to think of the friend name that when he walked in the tent, they dapped up, and then when the altercation popped off, the little
Uh-huh.
kid was supposed to have been recording everything. But then by the time he got to the police and everything, he said he was fake recording. He never recorded the incident. Um, and he was like, like, me and Carmelo had never been friends, but then they start pulling up images of both of them, the two of them at each other's houses. You know what I'm saying? At different functions together. I'm gonna pull up his name while we going through this interview. I'm
All
pulling his
right.
name down.
Okay.
What's up, Rizzo?
What's
What
up,
up,
fam? How
bro?
y'all doing tonight?
You
What's going
good,
on now?
good, good. Have
Hey,
you heard what we were talking about so far?
yeah, I've been listening to it. That young man his life was over right after that. He's in the state of Texas, number one.
All right.
If y'all don't know about Texas, is you don't need to go to jail if you don't need to commit a crime while being black in Texas, especially against a white person. That is a state of Republicans that they don't like nothing but they self. Uh, if you white, you okay. You can go kill whoever you want to kill and get away. Prime example: two same crimes were done. They raised money for the white little boy, got him off. He walking around free right now after he done killed somebody.
Hmm.
Is that the paradox you're talking about?
That's
Yes,
Okay, go ahead.
yeah.
absolutely.
Uh, people gonna get tired of being bullied. Kids get tired of being bullied. They're gonna eventually start doing more than just stabbing people. They already bringing guns to school or whatever, shooting up the school. They the parents are not.
You should have brought a gun to the track meet. You know what I'm saying? They getting off on that shit.
Yeah. These parents not. They don't think their kids are doing anything to hurt anybody. But let those roles have been reversed. Let that been that white guy stabbed him and killed that black boy. He'd be walking free right now, guaranteed.
Now, here. This is why I wanted to come on tonight, because there's times when I've come on this show, not very often, where some of your cousins, Mr. Glass, have looked funny, and I said, no, stay with me, because your cousins need to know that you're gonna have nobody in your life that's a little funny acting when it comes down to it.
That's true.
I ain't funny.
Know that.
Okay.
Yeah, they know that.
Your mama knew that. So, your mama ain't going to be vouching for somebody who's funny acting.
Right.
I know she's saved and sanctified, but she ain't vouching for nobody who's funny acting. She'll tell you about it. So, in this situation, I want to see consistency, because here's what I do see. When I talk about my personal experience in life and how I talk about the Democratic Party, I'm not talking to sound good. I don't see the Democratic Party coming out loud and strong on this. But more importantly, I don't see them coming out loud and strong on condemning what Rick Chow did. Now, some black folks were calling at me, talking about that Asian crime bill that got passed. And they said, well, that's funny. They can protect the Asians and the Jews, but us black folks, we get in where we fit in. Well, I said, well, look how we got to the country now.
What you expect?
But that's a part of the justice paradox that I'm talking about also, because if the majority of the Constitution wasn't written for you, why should you expect any form of law from the parts that weren't written for you?
Well, we got included from the 13th on.
Well, if we include from the 13th on.
Oh, okay. So right. So the 13th said now we are in. Well, hold on. The 13th ended slavery. The 14th said now we're included. We get due process. So now we can go back to the first and be included from the first. You can not be included.
You walking the line. You walking the line.
Because you can look at this different ways. So if you build a house, you say, well, this is my house. And then they say, well, what about this? Oh, this was the addition we added on later on down the road. Well, we still part of the house. Well, yeah, you're still part of the house, but you got added on. I mean, it's kind of like a child. Like, these are our main kids. But we still love you. But, you're kind of an add-on. And I don't want to say a stepchild or a foster child and be offensive to anybody.
Sure.
But blood is blood. Unless you have so much righteousness in you, and very few people have that righteousness in them, where you can love a child or a person who's not your blood relative. I mean, you got to truly have that righteousness from God from the time you were born. So I still say we're included from the first up all the way up to now, but we didn't get started until the unlucky number 13, and then the 14th, and then the 15th.
So as the 14th Amendment reads, Section 1, and this is from constitution.congress.gov, so it's an official source, right? All persons born or naturalized in the United States and subject to the jurisdictions thereof are citizens of the United States and of the state wherein they reside. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privilege or immunities of citizens of the United States, nor shall any state deprive any person of life, liberty, or property without due process of law, nor deny to any person within its jurisdiction the equal protections of the law. Right? That's the first section that, generally speaking, people are talking about. The other portions, I'll read a quick sentence. Representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to their respective numbers, accounting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians, not taxed. But when the right to vote at any election for the choice of elections for the president and vice president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of the state, or the members of the legislature. So this is part of the 14th Amendment that people are arguing when it comes to undocumented people's voting. Section 3, no person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector or president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or any state who having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of the state's legislature or as an executive or judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may by vote of 2/3 of each house remove such disability. So this is the insurrectionist portion that people talk about when it comes to the J6ers. Section
But
3.
wait
Go
a
ahead.
minute.
No,
Hold on.
I know. I'll say it because none of them were convicted of insurrection directly. They were none, and you are 100% correct because I looked it up, and you were right.
Someone checked me when I got into it with them years ago about this. Someone from outside the community checked me, and I said, "Oh, okay, words matter."
Section 4, and so when Section 4, when you use the 14th Amendment, and you start talking about 14th Amendment, Section 4, when talking to law enforcement, this is what people are referring to. The validity of the public debt of the United States authorized by law, including debts incurred for payment of pensions and bounties for services in suppressing insurrection or rebellion, shall not be questioned, but neither the United States nor any state shall assume or pay any debt or obligation incurred in aid of insurrection or rebellion against the United States or any claim for the loss of emancipation of any slave, but all such debts, obligations, and claims shall be held illegal and void. This is why they can't really take your money, which they actually do in states. If you riding around with thousands of dollars and you say you got a large sum of money, they will try to take your money.
Especially if you can't prove it.
Yep. Section 5. The Congress shall have power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article. And that is the long and short of the 14th Amendment. So there's a multitude of things in that, right? Especially going back to the title, the paradox, the American paradox, justice. According to the 14th Amendment, we should have every inclusive aspect of justice apportioned to us per state constitution, per law, and federal. But does it seem like we're getting that?
Well, hold on. Let's go deeper for a second.
Okay, because that's a part of the paradox definition also.
Well, let's go deeper. They say if you can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed for you.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember where it says that in the U.S. Constitution. Maybe it's 5. I can't remember. But
it's 5.
It's 5. Okay. But that's for criminal. Let me say it again. That's for a criminal act.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of like, we'll guarantee you to get up to high school. But if you want to go to college, that's on you. So if you have a civil situation, the way I couldn't find a lawyer to represent me, then you're out of luck. I want people to understand this because I didn't know this. For a criminal, if you can't afford a lawyer, a public defender for a criminal act will be appointed to you. Good luck with that public defender. Good luck. But for a criminal, for a civil act, if you want to sue someone civilly, that's on you. Go hire a lawyer. And if you lose, the way I currently have lost, they're gonna make you pay for those fees. So
for a civil, for a court-appointed lawyer?
Oh yeah, no. Court appointed is for criminal, but for a civil, if you sue someone civilly and you go out and get a lawyer and you lose that case, they're gonna throw those charges on you.
Oh
Yeah. So when we look at this situation, this is where the frustration of Black America comes from. We know in our heart that if Carmelo had been John, and then the person he shot was Tyrone, John's walking home. Maybe celebrated. So then people say, "Oh no, Richard, you're being racist towards white America." Okay, so now we start counting these names. Kyle Rittenhour.
You keep beating me to shit. You keep beating me. Go ahead, go off. Because that no. I want you to go because that's helping push
whatever name I fail to mention as quickly as I can, then somebody in the text has to catch it. Kyle Rittenhour, okay. Dylan Ruth,
yeah.
The white man that went in there and shot up the black church, and then the black folks in the church forgave him. They have a higher level of God than the rest of us.
Hey, real
Got
quick, I
the-
just gotta.
this child case put me back in the mind of the George Zimmerman stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so you got, here we go, George Zimmerman.
Let me ask y'all for Dylan Roof, and I got to go look this up because I can't remember off the top of my head. Did they try him as an adult?
George Zimmerman?
No.
I'm not sure.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
go check.
Was he over 18?
No, Dylan Roof. I don't think he was.
Okay. So, all right. Now, we've called out a few names here, okay? Oh, wait a minute. We missed Dylan Roof. It says here this happened, oh gosh. During a Bible study on June 17th at the AME Black Church, he murdered 9 people and injured 10.
He was born in '94, by the way, so he was over 18.
Okay. And so what I remember about that situation is, before y'all beat me to it, someone took him out for a burger. The police took him out for a burger after killing these people in church.
On the way to jail.
Hold on, let's stop there for a second. Let's think about it. Can you imagine? Because most folks don't know about Black history. The African Methodist Episcopal (AME) is one of the first African American churches, and I want to say that the guy who started that, it was him and a friend. They were Masons, Prince Hall Masons, actually. Alice Wilson Jones and the Right Reverend C. Allen, whatever, right? But can you imagine if I would have took my melanated self to a Catholic church and shot up and killed 9 parishioners? First of all, do you think they're taking me alive? I mean, at a certain point, I feel like I'm Dave Chappelle or something.
Hey, if they take you alive, you're not gonna be alive for long.
Well, let me throw a curveball in the mix. Because the guy that shot up the White House Correspondents' dinner, but wasn't he?
He looked white initially.
Let me look him up. But I thought he was
white. He was mixed.
I thought he was mixed, right? Right.
He because when I first saw the picture, I said, well, he's got to be a white man. And then I looked at his hair texture. This is funny about us Black folks. We look at the hair texture. Hey, hold on now.
Because you can tell.
It's a tell all.
Shit, I'm sorry, you can just tell.
Yeah.
All these inner things we do in the Black community when we spot things. But if we go to the Dylan Roof, and like I said, those Black folks who survived, the Black folks of that church, they forgave him. Now that's a higher love. That's like they must have been sent down right from heaven. They were created.
Right.
I'll hold my opinion in reserve about that one.
Okay. But when we go to the Rick Child, can you see me as a Black store owner questioning a young white boy, a 14-year-old? And he says, well, I didn't steal no water. And then we get into it. And then I leave my cash register, leave the store, grab my firearm, and run down this young white man. And then I shoot him. And then my son says, well, he pointed a gun at me. But initially, Andrew Child, you didn't say in your police report that Cyrus pointed a gun at you.
Well, let me, and this isn't even so much of a point of devil's advocate, but it's just an expansion of thought. Why did he run?
Because he had the pistol on him.
Now, check this out.
He already walked out the store. Oh, go ahead.
Well, hold on. Check this out. Since we're all from St. Louis. If a cop shoot a brother in the streets and the brother's running from him, the cop shoots him. So the cop has to say, I felt my life was in danger. I felt that the lives of others was in danger. So I shot Tyrone because he robbed the liquor store and he's running down the street. Okay. What if he didn't rob the liquor store? So now the cop has to come up with something else. Well, he had a gun on him, but there was no gun to be planted. Well, let's do a toxicology test. Oh yeah, he full of crack cocaine. Yeah, he was a threat. We had to shoot him. So somehow a Black man's credibility or a Black child's credibility has to be destroyed so it can justify the killing.
It's gonna always be destroyed. If you ever just catch this shit every time on the news when somebody can do something Black, they're never gonna say anything positive. It's always gonna be a negative anything. I'm talking about he could have been the best black man in the community as well. Guess what they gonna read him as his news? They gonna say, well, he had a long list of charges on him back in 80 something. That ain't got shit to do with 2000 something, but this shit back in 80 something. They gonna paint you out to be this bad person to justify
Yeah.
this killing, whatever. Yeah, like the reason why you dead or the reason why you killed somebody.
Hold on. So you brought up another name out of me. Philando Castile, clean criminal record. No drugs in the system. He was the person up in Minnesota that got shot when he was reaching because he had a licensed firearm and he could carry it in a concealed manner. He got blew up. Now, they marched for George Floyd.
Okay? In front of his kids.
And his girlfriend, yeah. So when black folks marched for George Floyd, I said to myself, okay, I don't know if he's the one that we want to get behind, but what about Philando Castile? That should have been the march because he was totally clean.
So I would have to, and this isn't to take anything away from Brother Castillo by any stretch, because they were both of them were actually marched
back to back. Yeah, they
marched for Black Lives, right, during Black Lives Matter rallies. And the march was to essentially have a day in court instead of somebody being judge, jury, and executioner on the street. So let me say something a little odd and not popular whatsoever. I hate and they show pictures of us as well. I hate that any of the actions that took place with these two young men happened ad nauseum. I hate it at length. But at this point, unfortunately, I have to say that at least Carmelo Anthony is alive. And when we have to get, at least he's alive. And when we have to get to a point of saying that him being in jail was probably a better option than what might have happened from that outcome, because of what history has shown us, we at the bottom. We're at the bottom of the barrel, fellas.
But you know what? I want to go back to what Travis said about when they try to discredit us. Now listen to this. Like you said, they'll go back to the 80s and try to bring up parking tickets to show that you don't have a good demeanor, a good character. All right. But when you go to court, and this goes to this Rick Childs situation, he had a history of acting a fool with people coming inside his gas station. But we can't talk about that in court because that may affect the jury. And then you wonder why black folks sometimes, why we kind of naturally lose our mind, because we know that if that had been our child, Carmelo, we would say, hey, don't do that. If the young boy asked you to leave, and you in Texas, by the way, like Travis said, then you need to go on and leave. Would you have done that same trick in Mississippi? I don't think so. But somehow you thought in Texas you could do that. I don't know.
So let's dig a little bit deeper into the American paradox of justice, because now we have to ask the question, and it's not just dealing with the local level justice system. Let's look at what happened in the Supreme Court here recently and their guided ability to allow states to redistrict. And although they didn't say the quiet part out loud, it's absolutely based on race, right?
It's the new Confederacy, bro.
That's the hush. That's the hush. They're gonna say redistricting to let people know we only mean black people.
Just look at everything that's going on, man. Let's see, 300,000 black women they got fired from their federal positions. You know what I'm saying? The removal of the DEI, the affirmative, you know what I'm saying? Everything that's filmed to generate something positive for us, they wiping all that shit out, bro. It's all gone and it's all crazy. You know what I'm saying? So it's just a new movement. And
it's your new age. It's they trying to bring a new age slavery to this. in
That's
my
what
opinion.
I'm doing.
Now, hold
And
on,
but
hold on.
they won't be able to do it.
But I differ. No, wait. This is where I differ with y'all.
Okay.
Because this goes into this political stuff that some people get mad at me about. When white folks is fighting white folks and they can't keep it secret, in other words, when the Democrats is fighting Trump and the Republicans and they can't keep it secret and they're acting kind of wild, kind of unbecoming, if you didn't know any better, they're acting like black folks. So now the whole world sees what Black America's been saying all along. So it's no longer a secret. So when they were trying to put this man in jail in 20 or in 21, they was coming at him. And what I kept saying, every time I looked around, there was a black woman trying to put him in jail. There was a black man. So Tisha James, Alvin Bragg, Bonnie Willis. And I said to myself, you carrying this water for these Democrats because you think they love you like this. Then this man, with a 9-0 decision from the Supreme Court, they said put his name on the ballot because they knew they would lose the country if they didn't. 9-0, put his name on the ballot. He was not part of an insurrection or rebellion, blah, 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 blah. That's how we're interpreting this, put his name on the ballot. When he won, this particular white man, who's no different than any other white man, except he tells you to your face like a Southerner, but he does it with an East Coast veracity or tenacity. He said, I'm coming for all you white folks who did me wrong. Oh, you black? Oh, you thought I acted a fool in the 70s when I was doing my housing scams and hustles and discriminatory ways? You thought I acted up against the Central Park 5 black boys. Oh, I'm getting ready to really show you I'm going to clown. And I said,
and I think that's the thing right there, Rich. I think I ain't gonna tell you. I think that's the thing. I don't think they pretty much thinking the Democrat Party having their back. I think it's just enough is enough. You know what I'm saying? If our upper bosses don't speak out, come on, man. Somebody got to speak. It got to be somebody has to speak on political level. You know what I'm saying? That's why my sister Jasmine Crockett and all that. You know what I'm saying? Women of that nature. You know what I'm saying? They don't give a hell who they offend. They don't give a hell who got their back. They are out there really trying to push a movement for.
Well, this is why I snapped last night.
Okay.
This is why I snapped.
Okay.
So Mikey Famine says, 100% disagree. Black people are of a higher moral fiber than the DNC. Okay, Mikey Famine, you're right. You're right. Overall, black people have a higher moral fiber. You're right. And I don't always agree with what Mikey says, but he's younger than me, but he's right on this. What I have said is this. If you want to be a black Democrat, as long as you voting, as long as you go to those jury pools, bring me court. I agree. Mikey Famine, I agree again. So that's 2 in a row, Mikey. So 3 we have a hit. Listen,
I'm just saying.
If you want to be a black Democrat, okay. You want to be a black Republican, I don't want to silence your voice because you have a difference of opinion that slavery never happened or doesn't no longer exist in America, Wesley Hunt. Okay, fine. Yeah. No, and I'm not gonna demean the black Republicans.
I will.
Well, hold on. I know.
Motherfucker out here throwing us up under the bus with some fictitious ass narrative and the platform that he has, wilding out to say some bullshit like that just to be seen. And I won't even call him a Sambo or an Uncle Tom or anything of that nature because that part I won't do. But what I will say is, he's full of shit, and he's done more damage to us than what he's assisted. As soon as somebody that looks like us gets on and they utter those types of words, there is no Jim Crow, there is no racism. Tim Scott does the same thing. Fuck them for that.
No, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's have a little bit of listen. One thing I can say is I can love my black Democrats, even though I may disagree with some of their ideas. I can love my black Republicans, even though I may disagree with some of their ideas. Because when I look at this, you both of you guys are being caught up by these political parties who don't give a damn about you. Okay? You are not their equal. That's why I'm a nobody. Not only am I black and I'm dark and I'm outspoken, I have no political party. I have nothing but a vote. And some people say, well, you don't belong to a political party. Your vote doesn't matter. They may have a point. But I'm not going to demonize Wesley Hunt because I know what he's trying to say is at some point, we can't keep talking about the past to get to the future. But in the same hand, when America wants to brag about George Washington, Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, I didn't go in chronological order, and all the great things we've done right, but when we have to talk about the whole story, okay, Mikey, when we have to talk about the whole story of the country, the good and the bad, now a percentage of white America says, well, we don't want to acknowledge that.
Well, they should have to. That's an issue of accountability on their side. The same thing that they claim nobody else takes. I've seen pretty much every other quote unquote race of people take accountability for their actions, except for them when it comes to actually having an honest.
White America would never take responsibility for the evil in the world. And I'm saying the world. I'm not just saying in the United States. I'm saying the world.
Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Corey Bush didn't take Wesley Hunt. Wesley Hunt's in Texas. Corey Bush was in St. Louis. That person in St. Louis ran against her. I can't remember her name. Another black woman ran against Corey Bush and took her seat in St. Louis. And Corey Bush was pro-Palestine. But we're not.
She got pushed out by the same motherfuckers that pushed my uncle out, being the God dang it. Well, his office in St. Louis, Ben and Jerry, because he wouldn't bow down to what they wanted, right? It was a political
Dale.
Yeah, Uncle Dale. Yeah. So my Uncle Dale, he was a commissioner in St. Louis, and he had been putting in a bunch of requests. There was a lot of shit that happened. They wanted him out because they were trying to do something different with the jailing system, and it was a popular platform to run on. And so Ben and Jerry funded a scapegoat type of scheme to push him out, get somebody else in there to try and redo the jailing system in St. Louis. And I don't know how that's worked out so far. But yep, you do know Uncle Dale, Mikey.
All I'm simply saying is, I don't want to demonize black Democrats. I don't want to demonize black Republicans.
Oh, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm not demonizing them. I'm just saying the truth. Fuck them.
Well,
if they're willing to say what they said, I have to be bold enough to speak directly against it. And that's not demonizing them. That's not saying, oh, fuck them. They ain't shit. They mama ain't shit. No, just fuck them for those words.
But wait. Listen to this. Because I know where Wesley Hunt's coming from. Because when I got elected president, I got elected by white conservatives, white Republicans. Now, are they the same type of white Republican conservatives in Missouri? No. Are they like the ones in Texas or Georgia, Mississippi? Hell no. That's a different brand. But see, Wesley Hunt has a good talk off. See, when you have to go out and get votes and your district's all white, then you better develop a talk off, okay? A speech, something that brings the whole district together to rally behind you. So his talk off is perfect for his district in Texas.
Yes. He makes them feel comfortable, and fuck him for that.
No. Hold on. Well, okay, that's the way of looking at it. Yes.
See,
Yes.
this would be the
Tim
problem.
Scott, when they came out that when that person who made that comment about slavery was okay, and Tim Scott said, "Wait a minute," he stopped that. He said, "No."
Finally, how much bullshit did we have to listen to here and be subject to before Tim Scott and his little dolphin tooth ass finally said something?
Wait a minute.
Let me take that back, because that's he didn't deserve that.
No,
he didn't deserve that.
But wait, this is where it gets tricky. This is where you don't belong to no political party. You can really be free.
I don't.
But
But
listen,
you have to do research though, and a lot of people don't do the research behind.
And fuck
But check this out. This is the problem the Democrats are going to have.
Here recently, fuck Bernie Sanders for not saying something and standing on business when it's after Supreme Court came down with them rulings. That motherfucker was ghost. So fuck him for being quiet.
Okay, so wait a minute.
I got a whole menagerie of fuck yous saved up.
I want you to understand something. When black folks try to say that the Republican Party is a racist party, this is why I'm waiting for this November election to see if Byron Donalds, a black congressman, a Republican, wins that governorship with the support of Donald Trump. And I want to see if the Indian American Vivek Ramaswamy, I think he's put himself in that governor,
I think he's begun to put himself in a bad position up in Ohio.
But that's not the point.
Sure.
President Trump has endorsed both of these people. So when he endorses in the primary, you normally win. Now, when you go to that general, it gets a little tougher. But Florida is a conservative state. So it should be no problem with the endorsement of President Trump for this black man, Byron Donalds. And he ain't no sellout. Because I'm watching people. He ain't no sellout. But he's doing what he has to do as a Republican, because he belongs to the Republican Party, and he has to bring in that money, because both parties require you to fundraise for them. So therefore, when you belong to a political party, you're going to carry their water. In fact, Matt Gaetz, the former congressman in Florida, he was talking about that and how he didn't like that because he wanted to self-fund himself.
Right.
When you look at these things really closely, and that's why when I get into it sometimes with people, whether it's in live or on this podcast or yesterday's podcast, because I know they have these allegiances that they can't break. Well, then if you can't break your allegiance, if you can't call your party out, because trust and believe, if the Democratic Party had came out hot and heavy and said we support this boycott of the SEC, every black Democrat would have fell in line.
Hold
on. Well, actually, Hakeem Jeffries did say, as a minority leader, we support the boycott.
Yeah, he did.
Some black folks who always want to support everything the Democrats do got quiet. And I know I'm being watched, and I want them to hear these words because I'm not mad. I'm just watching for consistency. So that's why I talked last night, because Travis and Red said, let's go back to that Trayvon Martin, George Zimmerman. Because I said, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So let me go back to something that you started saying, because I'm trying to get an answer on it real quick. So what would be the conclusion, because this goes back in line with the American paradox and justice, what would be the conclusion if Trump begins to endorse Vivek Ramaswamy as well as Byron Donalds?
He already has.
All right. So what's the conclusion there? That he's not racist, or the Republican Party isn't racist?
Who's not racist?
No, that's the question.
Well, what we can conclude about Donald Trump, if you say he's a racist, okay, but the racists I know from Missouri, they don't ever endorse black people for nothing. They don't care how good you are. Ozzie Smith, at that time, the greatest shortstop, when he was trying to buy and get that golf club membership and all that in St. Louis. But that was then. Maybe I'm wrong now, that maybe some white people who are racist can still endorse a certain black person from their party for a political position.
Of course, because racism has a spectrum.
Yeah,
I don't drop every white person in a racist spectrum
At all.
We grew up in St. Louis, and all my life, and y'all know, I've seen more black and white couples together in St. Louis I've ever seen anywhere else. When I moved here to Little Rock, man, if you were black and you messing with a white girl, your ass was crucified on both sides.
yeah.
I'm not lying, bro.
Yeah.
The black people, the black girls, they didn't like that shit. The white people just didn't like they hell now.
Yeah,
but
the South Side of St. Louis is so
Arkansas has come a long way with that. Like this was just in the mid to late 90s.
The late 1900s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
So when people got to talk about gentrification, like we seen that in our community already. You know what I'm saying? We seen like different the Bosnians, you know what I'm saying? Like it was every race in our community, bro.
This is where my house is now. Like my neighborhood, this neighborhood has been regentrified.
Yeah.
This used to be the hood. Like I lived over here when it was the hood, right down the street.
Right.
And so when I seen they had tore all this shit down and they got all of the homeless people were moving out of this and that, blah blah. I didn't notice it at the time when I was until I started buying it. And I started seeing all these white people around. I say, man, I ain't never seen any many white people around this neighborhood like this. And they came back. Instead of moving out west where the people got the money in Chanel and shit, they started moving back this way 10 years ago. I'm late.
Yeah.
Maybe 15 years ago.
So all them years we stayed on the block up until about 10 years ago, they made our neighborhood historic.
Yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
that's crazy.
Well, you know what? I hurt for the mother of Carmelo Anthony. I'm really torn up for the parents of Cyrus in South Carolina.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, and
Yes.
so people talk about accountability.
Oh, you,
And so
you
we have
said
to have,
that
we have to
question?
have accountability.
Yeah.
Huh?
When he get done, I got a question. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have to have accountability on both sides. But I've been saying this, and I know I've been criticized by other black folks and teased about it. What is the overall effect from the 80s going on with rap music, hip hop? Is it a huge negative versus a positive new art form? I keep saying this. If you were calling each other the N-word in front of white folks, I can't get down with you. I'm sorry. I can't do it.
So,
Because
Rich, I think you reading everybody notes, bro.
Oh, go ahead.
I think you reading everybody knows because that's what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask y'all, do y'all think the YN image has canceled a lot of our kids already?
Shit, yeah.
What do you mean
Or
cancel?
it's like the image that they think every young black male is a YN. You see what I'm saying? Just because the image, the look, or whatever might be. My son, 4.0 student, but he got dreads and everything. He can walk outside and be looked at upon as a YN, you know what I'm saying, by white society, by the police, by any entity, you know what I'm saying, pretty much, even by us. They look at him and be like, hey man, you're a little YN. And
If you don't do your due diligence and talk to a person and get to know them, you're wrong.
And that's why I can't, for that very reason, what you just said, I can say that not every white person is racist. I can say that factually.
That's
correct,
true.
correct. I agree with that. But I'm so
Hey man, you should have been used that motherfucking towel over your whole face, man. Your ass been sweating for a whole hour.
So my 16-year-old, he really don't know the difference between racism. Anytime I get to talking to him about certain situations, like him having to encounter a pull-up, getting pulled over by the police, or any like bad situation that he ain't never been in, I'm trying to prepare him for him. And every time I say something to him as far as like being black and white, he come to me like I'm racist.
Well, first off, I love that he has that innocence about himself still.
Correct.
In America, I absolutely love it. What I hate, however, is when he runs into this war.
That reality.
Reality. And I don't want it to be a shock where he's really fearful his, you know what I'm saying, his life and react different. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the cases that we are seeing with these young men. They just react. You know what I'm saying? Like, hold on, bro. Why y'all chasing me? I walked out the store. I told they got surveillance of him doing all this, showing that he ain't got nothing. Mm-hmm. But they seen the bowl, so they thinking he still got 4 bottles of water in his. You know what I'm saying? So I just want to prepare my son. So that's why I was asking the panel. You know what I'm saying?
You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. If you're not educating your kids about racism in America, you're wrong. Because it can happen to any one of our kids. Mm-hmm. And I told even my girls, I told them, I said, hey, these motherfuckers don't play fair. Even at your job, when you think they like you and shit and this and that, they're gonna find a way to shit on you when you're doing your job and it's better than what they doing.
There's a certain percentage of that. Yeah,
if you in that type of environment, but they out there still. I promise they still out there in them jobs like that and shit.
But you know what? Hey, this is where I had a disagreement with someone last night, and he's using good common logical sense. They say that when a person's in fear, if it's not law enforcement and you're in fear, most black folks run. And I told him, I said, listen, in St. Louis, if you run from somebody, you just got shot. So now if you're in a club, I said there's an exception. If we're all in the club and we hear some gunshots, we ducking and moving and getting up out of there.
Try to get on down.
You don't know who's getting shot at. But if it's just you in a confrontation with somebody and you can't talk them out of it, and you was in the wrong situation, you put yourself in the wrong situation to begin with.
God damn, Richard.
No,
I'm
just saying it's the St. Louis.
No. That was another
I
thing.
mean,
That was another thing I was gonna ask. Like, should we teach our kids to de-escalate shit? Do we teach our kids to try to de-escalate, or do we teach them
Man,
to stay on point?
you could try your teach your kids to de-escalate that shit.
Richard in my
But like
notes,
I told
man.
my
I'm
son,
telling me in
when
my
you
notes.
see some
hip
shit,
hop, you
when
don't
you
like
see
it.
some shit look like it's going left, get the fuck on out of there.
Get out of there.
Listen,
Get the fuck
Listen
on
to
out of there.
listen to this. Listen to this. I remember me being on the South Side back in the late 80s.
Okay.
The brother said, "Come on, Richard, be cool now." He said, my friend thinks that you mad at me and he wants to blow your brains out. I said, we just talking. I said, I know that, but when you talking in the street, now that was my second warning. When you talking in the street, if you're not prepared to give your life. Now his name is Big Ralph. So that was one brother that told me to watch it. Because when you talking in the street, no matter who you talking to, whether it's law enforcement or not, if you guess wrong, you're gone.
You better know your surroundings. You better know who the fuck you around, where you at.
Yeah.
So when these
We've
young black
always-
kids are running, when they're running for their life, you cannot run. Trayvon Martin, I want you alive. Because when that George Zimmerman was following you, when he was warned by 911, stop following him, George Zimmerman said, no, I'm going to keep following him anyway. Why? Because, in my opinion, you a young black kid. You ain't got no value. You could be a black man. You ain't got no value.
So then if George Zimmerman can be innocent of Jason, my bad, go ahead.
No, I was
Go
saying
ahead.
George Zimmerman was privileged at that time. That was his right that he took upon himself. He was privileged, so that's why he kept moving forward.
So if George Zimmerman can be found innocent of pursuing somebody and then killing them, why can't Carmelo Anthony, who was in a tent minding his business, be found innocent of protecting himself against an aggressor?
Well, because the aggressor wasn't black. That's why.
And none of the other witnesses came forward.
Had that been a black boy did that to him and he would have stabbed that boy, shit, he probably wouldn't even got charged with shit.
It go back to a jury of your peers, man. If he'd had one more brother in that room, I think the real would have came out. You see what I'm saying? If he'd had if it was one more brother in that room, he was already in a place that wasn't his peers. You know what I'm saying? And then he judged by people that's not his peers, nor color. It was just.
I'm gonna tell you this. If this is what they say is true, that young man that passed, and I hate it for him. You know, I truly do. I hope for his people.
Austin Metcalf.
Yes.
You know, if his daddy and the prosecutor and the judge are all friends, that shouldn't even been a motherfucking case. Y'all should have had a whole nother damn judge.
That should have been missed right there.
You come on, like y'all still let this shit go on, and y'all knew this was happening. That's why the lawyer that he had is in cahoots with these motherfuckers. He never stood a chance, man. And then you sentence him the same day for 35 years
in 3 hours, no less.
A young man.
A 3-point. Now,
before years?
3 points. Listen to this: 3.7 grade point average. That's what they report. So he wasn't like he was failing.
This man is not that young man is not a threat to nobody.
This young man just had saved a life in the state of Texas not too long ago, a drowning incident. Somebody was drowning in the pool, and Carmelo pulled this young, I forget if it was a girl or boy, but he pulled this child out the pool, bro.
Hey, he don't get no brownie points for that. You hear me?
I'm just saying, bro.
I'm listen.
Right.
Y'all can hear me and hear me good. In the state of Texas, and I'll say this shit again. If you are black and it has anything to do criminal with a white person, your ass is going to jail. and you going to jail for a long time.
But why didn't he just leave?
God,
Right.
man. That's why I was asking the question on de-escalation or just getting.
Let me ask you this.
Because rap
Dirk,
music,
Dirk,
rap
remember-
music does not talk about de-escalation.
No, it don't. It's talking about that 223 and all that shit.
Yeah.
Dirk, you picture this. Remember when y'all came over? We was living on the north on Garrison. Remember I had that fight, right?
Yes, sir.
And you get tired of motherfuckers fucking with you because back then my life ain't what it is today. I had to deal with a whole bunch of bullshit, not having what others had and everything else. So you get tired of motherfuckers making fun of you, everything. And it's one of them times you called me on that motherfucking day, and I was tired of this shit. And I put belt to ass.
You know what? But you know, this is
And
why.
it's the same thing. That man got tired of them people fucking with him.
Because of what you saying right there, that's what I would have done. I'm sorry, Richard.
No.
That's what I would have done right there. Because you know what we would have did back in the day. I'd have left that motherfucker. Went and got my homeboy. You know what I'm saying? If I still felt that energy, I'd have left that motherfucker, got my homeboy. But I'd have left that motherfucker. I wouldn't have stayed and, you know what I'm saying? I'm outnumbered.
I'm outnumbered.
But you know
what? Why would he even bring a knife to?
But
that he had to. Let me tell you something, man. If you in the South, people just carry knives, bro.
Yep, I agree.
People have them. They got them for. I swear to God. You can damn near stop 9 out of 10 people, and they got a pocket knife on them.
But hold on, listen to this double standard.
I carry a knife.
If that Carmelo had been Austin killing Carmelo, and Austin had a pocket knife, it wouldn't even be an issue. But this is what frustrates me. The George Zimmerman was so out of control. Okay, then Kyle Rittenhour, that was out of control. I'm so upset about Rick Shaw. I don't know what to do. Philando Castile, I'm so upset about that. The Ahmaud Arbery. Now they actually got some jail time, and I was stunned.
And they went back to try and get out. Just throwing that out there.
Okay. So
but go ahead.
So when white America says, well, hey, you black folks, y'all a threat to society. Listen to the. We look at your music. You got my kids saying the N-word, and I can't even listen to me how I say this. Some white people say, you got my kids saying the N-word, listening to rap music, and I can't say the N-word anymore because you told me I couldn't say it, but now you got my kids saying it, and I didn't want my kid around your black kid because I knew things would go belly up, and it did. But in the same hand, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
Mr. President, I have a question. I thought we were ignorant and uneducated, and we couldn't do nothing, and we lazy, and we stop listening to our music. You don't want to listen to that. Go listen to some Bach. That's what they should listen to. Listen to some Mozart.
That we dress. Quit dancing the way that we dance.
So, Mikey,
I'm a Tchaikovsky guy myself.
Listen, Mikey.
But they can continue to complain about the culture, but they love when the new video come out. They love when the fashion come out. Yeah, we are the soul and the flavor and the seasoning of the nation.
I'm gonna tell you what else they love.
Mad at us for being ourselves.
They love them fat asses on our women too,
man. And then they be in there getting all kinds of injections, trying to get some sort of little turtle lip to turn into a full lip, looking like a bunch of beaked seagulls out there trying to blow out, trying to cool soup with a bunch of toucans.
But Mikey, you know this, Mikey. I'm not disputing what you say, but you already know this answer that I'm getting ready to say, and I'll address Dr. Nichelle Dion as well. Who created rock and roll in America? A black person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Allegedly, black people did country and western. We did gospel. We did R&B. We did jazz. We did the blues. And then one of our most unique, maybe the most unique art form that we've ever done is rap. So 7 different genres. Because we're gifted, highly gifted. So even in rap, even with the negative rap, talking about shooting and killing and blah, 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 you still got white kids, like you say, Mikey, and Asian kids and the Latino community. Huh?
The Koreans love it. South Koreans, they love black people right now. We are popping in the
so no matter what we do as far as music, you know, when people say, Richard, you're too black conscious, because I say black people are first on earth and we are the children of God. But it's reflected through our music and our sexuality and our dance.
You just spoke about
But
it.
then,
We've been the creators from day one of a lot of situations.
I
And
can't,
a lot of
you know, all that stuff in Egypt, our greatest intellect, because they don't talk about Mali, but our greatest intellect in Egypt, because we built the pyramids and all that, and then they took those ideas and ran up to Greece and to Rome and then to Europe. We don't get credit for it.
Forget Egypt. Look at Sudan. They have way more pyramids than Egypt, and we don't even get. People don't know this stuff.
That's
I'm
true.
telling. Africa is one of the most legendary places in that, like, anything you can think of is there times 10. Times 10.
And remember, when we say Africa, because of that Roman general that renamed it, because originally the name was the Garden of Eden or Erkabalam. See, they can't call you the Garden of Eden and then say you black and you were here first, because then they'll know, oh, this is a rap. So they always want to do.
Humans have their origin. Homo sapiens, humans have their origins in Africa. Where are they from? Don't say Africa if you don't want to. I mean, don't just tell me you from somewhere else. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're not a human. Got it. Cool. Got it. Because I don't care. Skip a European country. You from
Timbuktu.
from
Thank you, Dr. Michelle. I knew she knew Timbuktu. So when white people say you guys need to show accountability, I can say, yeah, we can show some accountability. Because I've caught out the rap and their senseless violence. I understand that. But my thing is, do you have the courage of your convictions that when you're wrong, you can admit it? And I don't think that there's a certain percentage of white America, a certain percentage. Is it 40%? Is it 60%? That they can never admit that they feel that they are superior to black people.
Yeah, we got a whole history book full of facts. We got a whole history book full of facts. They got a whole history book full of lies, and you can go to your local library and peep that. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm definitely what you're saying, man. It's all BS. It's all tomfoolery.
So
one more thing on the one more real quick. I gotta run. One more thing on the rap music. We don't own the record labels.
right.
That's not our. If it was our record label, you would have a bunch of Commons and Lupe Fiasco and Mos Def, and you'd have
Talib Kweli.
They put out
Kweli.
they put out the negative shit to try to show that black people, hey, y'all, they some negative motherfuckers.
Mm-hmm.
That's all
And
they
guess
speak
what?
of. They
It's
want
sold.
to kill and shoot each other. And here's the thing: Common, Mos Def, all them guys, KRS-One, all them motherfuckers. If you listen to their music, they were violent too, but they said it in a good way.
Gangstar.
But like my favorite rap group is Rage Against the Machine. And everybody, oh, that's white people music. Not enough.
Say that. It's a fiction. Yeah,
These are Harvard educated, and Tom Morello is half black. Okay, the single greatest guitar player in the history of Earth is a black man, and don't nobody want to give him credit. Don't nobody want to act like they're part of us. They never want to claim, and he just keep fighting a good fight. Everybody else will catch up.
Right, you're right.
That's the mentality you got to have. Some people will be, as soon as you get started, they right there with you. Other people will have to see it for themselves. And then they'll believe, and then they'll hop on the bandwagon, and it's all great.
That point about us not owning our music labels and things of that nature. Now, I'm not even going to touch that because I know me, and what's going to end up happening is I'm going to go down a rabbit hole. So I'm going to keep my mouth shut tonight.
About who owns them?
Huh?
About who owns them?
I'll keep my mouth shut.
And the targeted messages that they constantly push.
I can't. Hi, Stephanie. Listen, I'm still stuck on when they marched for George Floyd. I'm like, okay, maybe. Philando Castile, yes. I would have marched for that one. But this Rick Child, I can't shake this one. I can't, for some reason. I think because I had an older black man get at me about that Asian hate bill a couple of years ago. I said, well, hey, don't be so hard on the Asians. They've gone through a lot. And boy, he went at me so strong. And then he talked about the gay rights bill, and he was just going off. And he was from Texas. I can't make the shit up.
Texas has the most black people.
Let me move a little bit backwards to
I can't make this shit up.
when we're talking about accountability, and especially when it's said from a hateful person, like you all don't take accountability. What they're really saying is, you need to manage my feelings for me. You don't need to tell me facts. You don't need to make me look at myself in the mirror. You don't need to present American history as it actually is. You don't need to make me feel guilty about what my people have done. You need to manage my emotions for me. You don't get to make me feel my emotions. You don't get to show me what being human is. I don't want any part of empathy. I don't know if y'all knew this, but there's a part of white supremacy that literally has a horrible view of people who are empathetic.
It's weakness.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They don't like people with empathy. That's something that Elon Musk has expressed. That's something that pretty much all of them have expressed. If you have empathy for other people, you are weak in nature. And so when we begin to tell them the history, like I do it all the time on Facebook under the family bloodline, I go in on these jokers and I call their asses Neanderthals. Call them Neanderthals every fucking day on purpose because it's the truth.
Check the DNA.
It's a fact.
It's in there.
1 to 2%. They carry 1 to 2% of the DNA of Neanderthals. So I won't be lectured by.
That's the average. It can get up to 12 to 15%.
Yes. And so
I have a
race.
ancestor, right?
Yeah.
So I have like 1 or 2%. It's people with 8, 10, 12% Neanderthal DNA. I'm human mostly. Some people not so much.
Yeah. And so when I try to engage in actual dialogue with them, they show me what their ancestors are or were. And it's a reminder that they don't know how to reach into their soul while they're spouting off about a Jesus and actually be human. They don't know how to do that. So when you talk to them about any point of accountability, their response after ad hominem, their response is to make you coddle their emotions because it hurts them.
Well, wait a minute. Hold on. Let's do this. I know we classy black men.
Sometimes.
Elon Musk. Let's not even say his name. Okay, that's
deal. You're right. I'm gonna just say the Epstein.
Would you like a good nickname for him?
What's that?
Space Karen.
Space Karen. Him and Stephen. What's that crazy man in the White House?
Stephen Miller.
Stephen Bannon.
Stephen Miller.
Oh, Steve Miller. Yeah.
Let's set those two particular white men off to
now that's a motherfucker that I will dog all day.
Oh, no. That's
I
fine.
got no respect.
Here's what
I wish get off my board now. Hold on now.
Lick down her kneecaps.
Oh my God. So listen, I think there's a percentage of white America who feels they're superior to black people. I feel that. Is that percent 10%? Is it 30? Is it 40? Is it 60? I don't know the exact percentage, but there is a percentage of white America. But let's always remind ourselves, there's a percentage of white America, they're not really racist towards us, but depending on certain issues, you could catch them. Or if you keep telling all of white America they're racist, then they say, you know what? But since you want to call me a racist, then doggone it, I'm gonna vote for Trump and put him back in the White House. This is where it gets tricky on how we call people out of their name. That's why, you talk to enough white people, some white people say, hey, you know what, Richard, this was wrong. Other white people, they were wrong on this. But if you keep calling all white people racist, then some of them will say, you know what, fine, I'm gonna put Trump back in.
Right, we already determined that we don't do that. You know what I'm saying? It's a fine line. We got enough common sense and street smart to weed it out. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody is on bullshit. You know what I'm saying? And that ain't just even white people. You know,
I have white people in my family. I have 6 cousins who are mixed. So,
well, hold on, family, because what I don't want us to do is get caught up in helping these motherfuckers feel comfortable. because that's not what
I
we
didn't say
need to do.
feel comfortable.
No,
I
no,
didn't say,
Hold on. Give me a second. Give me a second.
Let him cook.
The reason why I'm saying that is because if the shoe don't fit, don't worry about it. If you listen, I just stayed with I know a brother down in Arizona. He let me and my kids stay with him when we was down there because Arizona was busting my pockets open to the white meat, right? White guy.
Rest in
Love
peace,
that
Bernie
brother
Mac.
Yeah. Love that brother past death. I've got a whole lodge full of brothers. I'm not a Prince Hall Mason. I'm not a Prince Hall Mason on purpose, right? I love my brothers, and my brothers that are for me, I froze up. All right, I'm back. My brothers that are for me, that's not a point. If we're talking about these issues, they're never in a position to feel as if I'm poking at them because it doesn't fit them.
okay.
The narrative that the people that I'm talking about and that I'm talking to, when they hear me talking, that offends them, right?
Okay.
So if it's for you, it's for you. But if it's not, generally speaking, from what I've seen, if it don't apply, let it fly. I got a good friend. I got a bunch of good white friends here in Kentucky, and we converse frequently. And again, it's not a point of them having to explain to me how not racist they are. I know them by their deeds, by their actions.
And some of them ain't went through the situations that we have went through, but they understand it. You see what I'm saying?
They're empathetic. Yes.
That's why they don't want them to have empathy, because if they
Exactly.
can put themselves in somebody else's shoes,
Yeah. So
that is
I
a problem for the structural white supremacy. If motherfuckers are falling off the wagon left and right and center.
So I don't want us to get caught up in a point of us having to clarify who we're talking. No. If you feel offended by the stuff we're saying, then we're probably talking about you.
You're the problem. You're that problem.
Right.
You know what's funny about this?
I talk about
because
those
when I first met Mike and we were going back and forth, we're talking about this empathy thing, and he's talking and he's really coming strong. He doesn't know it. So many people don't know this. In the 1800s, I think it's during the 1830s up to the 1870s, there was a thing called the Opium Wars.
Yes.
And so Mr. listen to how I say his name, Sassoon, was importing opium to China. And the Chinese was getting hooked on that stuff. And they was going to war because it was really a bad situation. He didn't care. This is a white man. I want to say with a little extra, but I won't. Not tonight.
Yeah.
Because I know Mikey knows. I know Mikey knows.
What
can I do?
In his family. I'm just gonna say he's a white man. I'm gonna leave it at that. And I have to agree with Stephanie. That's how you know they're not followers of Jesus.
Correct.
Okay, I gotta stop right
there. Go down that hole, bro.
You won't do it.
Somebody stop. I'm gonna go down there.
You won't do it. You're afraid.
Quit instigating over there, bro. Quit instigating.
You're too scared to say it. It's like we get it. I have empathy for your fear.
I'm still stuck on Rick Child.
Hey, I'm on one side, Mike on the other side. You gotta pick which side you gonna pick. I'm on one side, Mike on one side.
I knew the Carmelo Anthony was gonna be a bad situation, but I'm still stuck on this Rick Child. And I don't know why the Democratic Party, is it because it's an election year in the midterms and they're gonna do anything they can to get it? Okay.
The Black Panther Party they came and resonated with this situation.
I haven't seen all the details.
If you tell me, well, you're black and you were scaring me, you picked up the water, you put your black paws on it, now you contaminated water, so you gotta buy the water. Okay, I can accept that. I can accept that racism. Listen, because I'm so conditioned as an American. I can accept you saying I put my black paws on the water's contaminated. That I can accept coming from Missouri. What? But now that I put the water back in 2026 or 2025, I should be able to leave the store This is not 1960 or 1940 where you come out the store not with a rope and a pickup truck. You come with your own firearm and says, "I'm still gonna blast you anyway."
Trump is in
Now the
office.
bar
He
is
wants to
too far.
make America great again. So yes, it is. I know it says 2025, but everything he's doing is 1960s or pre-1960s. We saw that with the Supreme Court,
But
right?
but you know what? Here's the funny thing about this. This is where black folks. I hold black folks accountable, and I hold white America accountable. You put a black dude in 2 straight terms. If you had just voted one time and made him a fluke, now that's acceptable. You put that black man in 2 straight terms, that's not a fluke. So you got to come back with a person like Trump to put America back on balance for half of America again. Because the other half of white America said, you know, put the black dude in and let's see if he can figure this out. Oh, damn, he did. We'll put him back in again.
I got to run. So I got one closing comment.
Yes.
We're
about to do final thoughts anyway. We gotta wrap up. I gotta get upstairs.
I'm late. They wanted Trump and they got him. Look at the economy, look at their stock portfolio, look at their dating life, look at the environment, look at everything. Everything's cratering. Everything's cratering. So I'm glad that they got what they wanted. No takesy backsies. No one's gonna put him out of office. He's going to drive this nation into the ground as fast and as hard as possible so that he can disrupt the dollar. He can crash the dollar. He's got his own crypto money. He's not worried about it. He's got his friends. He's not worried about it. This is all at someone else's behest, and y'all arguing with each other because we're black.
Mikey, before you
go ahead.
Before you leave, I need to know the times of your YouTube show as well, because I've been trying to catch you and I haven't been able to lately. That's why I sent you a message. I don't think you saw it, but I need all that information. Okay, all right.
Yeah, I was moving.
And your cat is a beast. I'm looking at that post behind you, bro. You got to do something about that.
Where you at? You around here somewhere? There's 2 of them. They be on there, look like damn Summer Olympics.
Yeah,
spinning all the way. I'm like, yo.
So we get you, bro. So we can tune in.
Yeah, I'll put the link in the private chat here real quick.
Gotcha. Appreciate it.
But let them have what they wanted. They wanted him in there. They wanted his great business ideas, and for all the non-war people, I'm glad you got what you wanted. This is what you wanted, and I'm not pulling the bus over. I'm not letting you change your mind on the menu. You get nothing. You get this only until you break, because it's the white farmers who are being pushed out. It's the veterans who are being pushed out. It's the poor whites getting kicked off a SNAP. It's all the elderly people who can't go, who are about to, come January 1. Oh, that health insurance is about to be $1,600 a month.
Say it again.
Man, these cats are something else. But let them have it, so that when the storm leaves and everyone has to start cleaning up rubble and bricks and all this stuff, we're gonna take ours and we're gonna fix what we know how to fix. They can try to fix their own stuff, and let me guess, you don't know how to do it because you don't know how to lead and you don't know how to govern. So, good luck,
Mikey.
And they don't work.
We're gonna find out about how right or how wrong you are
in November.
If the Democrats can take one house, because if they take both houses, he'll have to leave. He'll be removed from office.
He'll do another coup.
You
He'll
think
try
so,
another
bro?
coup. That's what the ballroom is for.
I'm with Mikey.
Gotcha.
Let them have it. And what y'all were saying earlier, a hit dog will holler. If I keep saying these racist white people say this group of racist white people said that, and a whole bunch of non-racist white people keep hopping up to defend them, a hit dog will holler every time.
Yep.
Correct.
I wasn't even talking to you. And you just popped up and volunteered information and outed yourself. I appreciate you.
Right.
But we're going to keep it moving. But I got to run, y'all. Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us the name of your show and what time it come on.
Yes, sorry. The name of the network is the Bin Podcast Network. I'm the CEO, founder, HNIC You can check us out. We're going live probably in the next 30 seconds because I'm very late. So,
Gotcha.
so we're going to be doing Unbox Politics. We're going to be watching political videos, giving them a rating, and then we have like a leaderboard. And at the end of the year, we'll have the playoffs. So thanks for having me. Love y'all. Be good. Stay black.
Later. All right. So, Dirt, I think you got leaving a little bit. Didn't got a little late for you, because
You said drinking that big ass beer.
Yeah, man. First off, I'm gonna start by saying, man, fuck the New York Knicks.
Damn.
My Spurs still gonna battle back. Don't worry about it. My Spurs gonna battle back.
I forgot. They sorry to the motherfucker.
You see what I'm saying? But on that note, man, love your people. Stop the evil first and foremost. Black people, vote. Like Rich was saying, you gotta get out there and vote. Like we sitting up here talking about the judge, the prosecutor. I mean, you know what I'm saying? They all on the same team. The father, you know what I'm saying? Oh man, it's crazy. It's insane how the system is working against us. But at the same time, we can't let it work against us. We have to be more vigilant in how we raise our children. That YN narrative, let that shit go. Man, get on your kids right now. Throw all the ski masks away. Throw all the baggy clothes away. Teach them how to present themselves in a manner that young men present themselves in. You know what I'm saying? So that's my piece for tonight. That's my final thoughts, man. I love y'all, man, but protect the youth. If you know what I'm saying, you only know better if you do better. I mean, you only do better if you know better. So it's up to us to teach the kids. They ain't got no OGs no more. A lot of them don't want to hear from us. The women gotta let other men step in and raise these young men. You know what I'm saying? Final thoughts.
Right on, Cuzzo. We'll
Yes,
push
sir.
over to you, Rich. What you got?
So I'll be quick. You know,
Please wipe the sweat off first.
Okay. Because you know I'm too cheap to turn on my air conditioner. So listen.
Come on, man. You can't do that. Not a sack.
Shit,
you know
be
what?
a motherfucking son of
Hot
a.
up there.
I don't know how many old black folks y'all been around. We don't run that air conditioner until we just have to. No, we ain't gonna be cold, but we ain't turn on that air too quick. So
y'all damn near three triple figures, ain't you?
You're real once 100.
That's what I'm saying. You have to now.
You know what? You going against the shepherd principle. You know what I'm talking company is coming. So my aunties and uncles, they turn their conditioner on, but my great auntie and uncle, they colored folks. They don't do that. So listen, to Austin Metcalf and to his family, I'm sad that he's gone. To Carmelo Anthony, don't give up. Now you have to really put your faith in God. There's no shortcuts now. And to his family, stay prayed up. I hope your appeals process works. And, you know, black folks are going to say this. Black folks are going to say that about, did you have the right lawyer? You're going to get second guessed. I still love you and support you. And finally, let me go to Rick Chow. I can forgive you, Mr. Chow. I can.
Fuck that.
And to the family of Cyrus, I'm sorry. I'm really sorry that he's gone. To every person who has lost their child, especially these black mothers, whether the child was perfectly right or perfectly wrong or a little bit of both, it doesn't matter. When a mother loses her child, they say usually mothers don't recover from that. And I pray for everyone that we can treat people with love and respect. Thank you very much.
I appreciate that.
Appreciate that, prayers.
Travis,
man,
what's happening, MC?
What up,
man?
Couple more weeks, Guzzo.
Stay woke, man. Stay woke. You over there wiping this?
Nah, man. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Because in my old age, I become emotional. I find myself when I'm watching TV and seeing certain shit on the news, and the shit make me cry, and it's terrible. Because there's never no good news; it's always bad. And I'm just gonna piggyback off Dirt a little bit, man. Teaching black people, black men, black women, teach your children about this world. Don't let them become blind to think that somebody actually care about them other than them and you. Because the white people don't care. And I ain't saying all of them, but the vast majority of white people don't care about black asses, and it's something that has to be done. And education is what it is. So when you know better, you do better. And just like prayers, hey, I feel for them families, man. Should nobody have to endure none of that pain, especially the mothers, on both sides, but justice has not been served. That man was railroaded, and if I had it my way, and it probably ain't the godly way, I'd hunt all the motherfuckers down one by one and get them for all the wrong that they done to these people, man. George Zimmerman supposed to be in jail for life. All these motherfuckers that call themselves, it was justified. You're supposed to be in jail for life with the rest of these motherfuckers. So, that's my thought. I love everybody. I ain't no violent person unless you make me, but we got to do better in life. We got to do better.
MC want to say something?
No, yeah, I see you back there, good. Yeah.
Just let me end with this, cuz it is unfortunate what's going on. Like, it's a lot of injustice. But all I want to ask y'all real quick, because I was listening on the way in the back. It's always about politics, but at the end of the day, like, ain't we the ones responsible, bro, for what's happening to us? Like, wasn't no justice for, like, after George Zimmerman, like, why dudes still out here walking around if the police didn't lock them up? Why wasn't no street justice? You know what I'm saying? When we gonna take a stand and, like, take our respect back? You know what I'm saying? Especially like these, anyway, y'all be
non-violent.
Well, I'm on my Malcolm X shit at this point because, I mean,
Hey,
how else we gonna
Malcolm
get
X,
respect back?
I hear you, bro. No.
Yep. I can dig that.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad you said that, MC. That's going to segue me over to my final thoughts. First off, I really, 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 really deep down in the soul of me wish Stephen Miller would have ended up in a sock against a wall. Anyway. Like MC was saying. At a certain point, there is some responsibility we have to bear in this. All this Real Housewives of any motherfucking city, fuck y'all for that shit. All this quote unquote real nigga music, fuck y'all for that shit. All you motherfuckers that have made it harder for me to be a man, fuck you for that.
Sir.
From the bottom of my soul. Not just a man, but a black man living in America. I used to tell people all the time, they ask me, you listen to 50? I used to say, fuck 50. He make it harder for me. Because not all of us are on that bullshit. The reason why a lot of us ain't on that bullshit is because we lived it. There's a difference between living it and saying it in a song. And having to watch motherfuckers get murdered. And having to watch the streets like the tide of an ocean just wash over somebody. Fuck y'all fat, man.
Sorry.
Fuck all of you executives who have used my culture to fatten your pockets and send your kids to school. As a matter of fact, fuck that little Asian dude that has deleted his social media shit, threatening black people with a good time. Like we won't boycott somebody on the strength. Fuck everybody who has made me work harder as a man just to prove that I am human. I hate you for that. I don't care what color you are. I hate you for that. I want to be upstairs with my kids, hanging out with them and laughing. I don't want to have to teach my kids what racism looks like in America. I don't want to have to tell my daughter, take them goddamn long ass fingernails off. We don't do that in this house. I don't want to have to go and talk and say half the shit I have to say in defense of simply spelling out I am a goddamn human.
Yeah, talk your
Fuck
shit,
y'all
bro.
for that. I'm so sick of you people. You've taken my skin. You've taken my blues. You've taken my life. You've taken the lives of our children. You've equated them to an adult because your coward ass is scared. You disgusting, perverted ass ancestors of slave owners. Fuck you. If you haven't changed your ways and you haven't realized that we're just as human as you, man, fuck you and fuck off. And I can't wait for evolution to do its job on you. I can't wait. We should not have to live like this.
You gonna throw him.
None of us.
Push it up.
Talk your
None
shit,
of us
bro.
should have to live like this. My white brothers and sisters, my Asian brothers and sisters, my Indian brothers and sisters, my Native Indian brothers and sisters, my Hawaiian brothers and sisters, my Polynesian brothers and sisters. We should not, if you are human and you've been able to live at that level as a human and respect people for being people, that's what I rock with. Everybody else that's been out here making it hard, fuck you. And I mean that in my sincerest of fucks to you.
I love it.
And those are my final thoughts for tonight.
Oh, that shit, cause that was good shit.
I've been thinking about that all day. I swear to God, I have.
I
Man, I
can feel
love
it in
y'all,
my
bro.
soul, brother. I feel
See, he talks differently with y'all.
You keep it real with us. I always have and always have.
Listen to this. Listen to
Right
this.
down the middle with the shit with us, man.
On the Wednesday night shows,
I'm sorry, President.
on the Wednesday night shows, people be looking at me funny. And I'm saying to myself, he's a June Gemini just like I am.
Hey, that be you. That be you on the Wednesday night show. I'm Craig.
No, I'll be because
Right.
if I think you're being inconsistent, because I know I'm gonna stay to my platform, and I watch because I know people are watching me. I'm not giving my support to none of these political parties. I'm just not.
Ever.
And even though if the Democrats win both houses and they remove him from office, because I'm in my life or in our lives, I've never seen white America so mad at white. They're as mad at each other as they are at us. And them
motherfuckers can't get on the same page, can they?
They are just so. I've never seen white America act like this. I'm appalled by their behavior. I am. Because they can't stand each other. Half are here, the other half is here. We don't know if we're going forward. We don't know if we're going back. Nobody knows anything.
Nope.
And they can't talk to each other. Listen, if black folks can't talk to other black folks, and we want to blame our lack of accountability, or we want to blame slavery or whatever, okay, great. But no one cares about us. But when white people can't get along with other white people, we have a crisis. We need an intervention. It's like when we were on crack cocaine, not a big deal. When they got on crystal and the opioids, oh my God, we got to show sympathy. We got to show compassion. We need an intervention.
They changed the crack laws behind this shit.
Sure enough.
They
Sure enough.
They didn't want their white folks being in jail that goddamn long.
And you know what? There's where, listen, everybody in the hood wants to be a drug dealer at one time or another. But when you look at the long-term effect of not just crack, but of heroin, do you want your sister or your brother cracked out or on heroin? I do not. If I had a sister, a real blood sister, because I have to say blood, because I look at that Mr. Glass as being my brother. But I have to say blood. So if my auntie's watching, get them going. So we don't want none of our relatives. In fact, we don't want our friends being cracked out. We don't.
Not your real friends.
Look, you can be my enemy. I don't want to see you on crack. I don't want to see you fiending for heroin. I don't want to see you homeless.
Yeah, bro, they got way worse shit than crack now, though.
Okay, so I'm aging myself. Okay,
Which
thank
is
you, young
crazy.
man. Thank you.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, but
I know what you're saying, though, brother. But
Yeah,
they got way worse shit than crack now.
well,
They
we don't
probably
want to
wish
see.
crack was still on the street like it was.
Wow. So we don't
Damn.
want to see nobody
I didn't even
addicted
know
to
that.
drugs. Yeah. Well, I don't
That's
want to see
real
nobody
drugs.
addicted to drugs. When I came to that realization, when you go to an environment that's drug infected and crime infected, you don't want that around your family.
Nah.
You don't.
Nah.
And so that's why when we say we have a lack of black unity in the black community, because I don't say culture, because when black folks make it, they get the hell away out the community. Because they know that war zone that they were able to get out of, they don't want to go back to the war zone. Because it's a war zone. It ain't, the ghetto is, quote, a war zone. What it is.
Damn. I don't
And
want
too
none
bad
of that.
for, anyway.
Yeah, but as always, we absolutely appreciate everybody for hanging out with us tonight. Rich, thanks for hopping on the Thursday night show. I appreciate it.
It's Wanda.
We won't be
Wanda to be on.
Wanda wasn't feeling well. She got a sinus infection. So yeah, with that, shout out to Wanda. Rest up, cuzzo. Get better. We got the 4th of July. Yeah, 4th of July in Little Rock. We're gonna be live.
Going down. It's going down.
It's going down. Yeah, it's gonna be a legacy table night.
I cook, goddammit, it's going down.
It's going. yeah, we're gonna be in there. It's gonna be great. Shout out to my sister, my big sister Key. She's back in the States.
Where's she
Yeah,
at?
it's gonna be great. Right now, she's down in Florida.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. Shout out to Sabrina, my bonus baby. She's passed a critical test in her endeavor to be a stylist, hairstylist. So
Kudos.
Kudos to you, straight up. And I'll there's another secret I got, but I have to wait for her to tell it, and I won't do it. Although I'm ridiculously excited for her. We'll come back to that later on in life. But as always, we absolutely appreciate y'all for hanging out with us and listening to us. And thank y'all for coming out. God bless and good night.
One time for the one time.